this is Sean again, back again with All Things Black. I have a new friend here.
Hi, I'm Nia.
Okay, Nia, is there anything you would like to tell them about yourself before we get started?
Sure. So, I am an artist. I'm from Richmond, Virginia. Right now, I'm actually in Doha, Qatar, trying to get my master's degree in design. And I write a travel blog. And sometimes I talk about things like, what it's like to be Black abroad.
What's your travel blog place link? Or is it
Oh,
on Instagram?
it is on Instagram, physical website too. So it's blackgirlsabroad.com, but black is spelled BLK.
Okay, we'll drop it under it too. Okay. All right. Okay, so me and Nia are going to talk about colorism today. So our first question is, what does the word colorism mean to you?
Mm. To me, it's like a subcategory. It's specific discrimination against people based on skin tone, but it's within specific communities, like within specific melanated communities.
Okay. Yeah. All right. What do you believe are some examples of colorism?
Just in general or in my personal life.
We have a personal question, so just do general this time.
All right, no problem. So it's starting to change now, but for a very long time, you could see commercials, advertisements, or just on television, right? If they're going to cast a person of color, it's probably a light skinned person of color, things like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Okay. Why do you believe some people have negative attitudes about dark skin, and why do you believe some people have negative attitudes about light skin if you think they do?
Mm-hmm. I think that in a lot of places and cultures that have colorism running rampant, it's usually places that have a history of colonization or imperialism from a European country.
Mm.
So I think that has a lot to do with it, because for a long time there were a lot of generations that were fed a belief, one way or another, that light skin whiteness is top tier. And even though imperialism is gone, more or less, that still persists because it takes a few generations to get that out of a community system. Um,
Okay.
and then when it comes to attitudes against light skin, it seems like a reverse situation, almost like you give me hate, and as a result, I give you hate. It just boomerangs back and forth.
Okay. What role do you think traditional media has in promoting color stereotype? You kind of already talked about this a little bit.
Yeah, I think that in a lot of traditional media, like advertisements or movies, television, we see that and
Yeah.
just in the 21st century, the way technology is, we're fed images constantly. And that has a huge impact on people. It's not just flipping through pages of a magazine anymore. It's every little detail about everything. You see an advertisement for crayons for your kid, and then you realize that everyone in the commercial looks a certain way.
Hmm.
So everything from crayons to hair care products to celebrities, it's hard to escape.
Right. Okay. What role do you believe colorism plays in dating and marriage?
Hmm,
If you believe it plays it.
that's a good question. I think it plays a big part. I
Yeah.
have a personal story, but that's, I can save that for later if
Yeah.
you want.
We on number 8, so we two away. We gonna get into it. Yeah, we gonna get into it.
All right, all right. Well, yeah. So colorism in dating and marriage. Yes, I think it plays a part. I think it's one of those things that doesn't come out until people are in the situation.
Mhm.
Um, because you may hear stuff from your family or friends when it comes to race, right? Like
Mhm.
a white person dating a black person, that kind of thing. But then when it comes to dating someone of your race but in a different skin tone, hmm, there's still a lot of associations of marrying up or down when it comes to, people's
Mhm.
options, that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's true. Like I know, like in our community, I don't think we have a term for that, but I know like with this Hispanic community, they have like marrying up and like improving the race. I meant
Mm,
with their marriages, and so improve the race by marrying whiter.
yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if we have a term in the black community, but um, but I have thought about how, back in, I just say back in the day, second to time, they had like, with like the mulatto people and lighter skinned people, they weren't supposed to marry dark skinned people because they were supposed to keep, keep their generations to come white. But now, although you're not really supposed to marry a dark skinned woman, lighter skinned people don't like to marry other lighter skinned people. As I was reading like a book, I was finishing a book last night that came to me. I was like, okay, well, then only light skinned people were supposed to marry light skinned people. Now, and through my like studies and stuff, I've realized that lighter skinned people don't like to really date other lighter skinned people. So that's kind of that's kind of in a lot of videos I've seen them say you can't do light on light, and I'm like, that's just so amazing that has like switched to, but that switch hasn't affected dark skinned women because it's still dark skinned women aren't, you know,
Yeah.
marriageable. So I don't
Right.
know if it's only it only helped the dark skinned black man now, but I thought that was interesting how that has switched to no, it was only supposed to be light on light and now it's no light on light. So
Yeah, this is very interesting. I never thought about that.
yeah, I'm like, where did that? Because I was just seeing so many people say in my study, no, I wouldn't date no light skinned boy. I'm already light. I'm too light. I don't think light on light would look good. This one boy said he thought light on light was like incest, and I was like, so I mean, it's changed for on that side.
Mhm.
I don't think it's spilled over to include you know dark skinned women really.
Mhm.
Yeah, but yeah, okay. But yeah, I agree. It affects it. How do you believe gender intersects with colorism?
Mm. Mm. Ooh, that's a loaded question. How could I summarize this? Okay.
Yeah,
So,
it's a big one.
oof, all right. So I know, let's see, when it comes to skin tone on a woman or skin complexion on a woman, whatever.
Mhm.
Um, with that, it becomes a situation of like the darker you are, the more sexualized you are, or the more I don't know,
That's true.
animalistic you are,
That's
in the
true.
different categories that come with being closer to animals, that kind of thing, which is so bizarre in this day and age to see how that manifests. But it still happens compared to a light skinned woman is a lot more accepted socially. A lot more assumptions are still placed on her about her intelligence, her background,
Yep.
her genes. Sometimes she becomes more exotic because she's light skinned, but you don't quite know what she's mixed with, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Um, with that with women. And then with men, I feel like it's not as charged.
No.
I don't think it's as charged at all. And I feel like that it has evolved almost like more like a trend. Like I know in the 60s and 70s, light skinned men were real beautiful, right? Like a
Yeah.
Robinson kind of vibe.
Mhm.
Um, but as time goes on, then you start getting more dark skinned men like rappers, in the 80s and 90s, and even celebrities. Idris Elba. I mean, even things like that. It's
Mhm.
just chocolate men are popular now, but
They
with
are.
yeah, but with women, it hasn't followed that same trend. It's still
No,
been.
I really don't get that. It's like chocolate men and or yeah, what people say chocolate men. They're like people. Everyone, a dark skinned girl, a light skinned girl, a mixed girl, who loves our dark skinned black men.
Yeah.
Like it has not translated over though. I know it's just because of color being associated with like femininity and masculinity and things like that, but you would think it. But I mean, it's the same as with like light skinned men and light skinned women. Light skinned men aren't as preferred in dating. Light skinned women are the like pinnacle of all dates. So
Yeah,
it doesn't. It's bizarre. Yeah,
it is.
it is. Okay. What do you believe is the difference between colorism and preference?
You said colorism and preference?
Preference. Yes.
Ooh, colorism and
Is there a
preference.
difference between colorism and preference?
Hmm. Hmm. I think that there is. I think that the more you zoom out is when it becomes more clear. Because, like, if there's an advertising company, right, or a movie, um, and the role, right, that they're casting for it just says, we need a woman, right?
Mm,
And then you choose a light skinned woman or a black woman. Or even if the role is like, we need a black woman, and you choose a light skin over the dark skinned woman every time. Like that becomes an issue. I think that that's colorism. I feel like preference is more is more specific to the individual. It's it shouldn't necessarily have to do with skin tone in a specific way. This is so hard to put into words. Like now that I think about it,
yeah,
because I feel like having a preference is not inherently problematic, but
yeah,
colorism is.
yeah. So like from what other people say, other people that I've talked to, they say they think the difference is like that it's not exclusionary. My like I prefer light skinned women, but I would still date a dark skinned woman. I don't really that my opinion doesn't really match that one. I think skin tone preferences are mostly inherently colorist because
Mm,
usually when you ask people why, I mean your evidence is laid right there before you. Like it's
that's a good
just
point.
yeah. All you have to do is say why. Like because at first I guess you could say, oh, it's just their preference. But if you ask why, I mean, all the it's just their preference goes out the window. They're just prettier. Every single one. They're just not as loud. Every single one. So it's like I just really don't think there's a difference. I think people don't want to say, yeah, I'm a colorist. I mean, it's just what I am. People are not about to just say that. So they're just like, it's just my preference. So I feel like preference and colorism they could have the same dictionary journal entry because I just when talking about dating, because colorism isn't just dating, but when talking about dating, I really think they're the same thing.
I hear you.
But some people think, it's okay to say you prefer a certain skin tone. I don't know. I guess if you had like a real good reason.
A real good. I want.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of a good reason. Like, I just, like, I guess if you could say, I just like how they look better. No, I mean, I can't think of a good reason, but if someone, I challenge a good reason for someone to give me. But if there's a good reason out there, I could maybe accept that it's two different things. But
Hmm.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. And then I also think preferences like I prefer a girl who is working on her degree. I prefer a girl who has a car. I prefer a girl that does her hair, whether that be natural or, any type of way. I prefer someone who matches when they get dressed. Okay, that's what I think is a preference.
So things that aren't biological, like
Exactly. Exactly. Or I prefer black women. I think that, and if a black woman say I prefer black women, I think that is a. I know that's still that kind of goes against what the other stuff I say, but I think that's a preference as well because yeah, I have to work on that. But I think that's a preference as well. But I don't know about skin tone preferences. I guess if there was a good reason. Yeah, if there was a good reason. Okay. Um. All right. So, do you believe that colorism is institutionalized? Does it affect like job status, like the correctional system, socioeconomic status, etc. All like systems. Do you think colorism affects it?
I think so. I think so. I know that there aren't nearly, if any, statistics on that kind of thing because when you look at stuff, you typically look at race and socioeconomic status, race and prison sentences, things like that. But I think that as a subcategory, colorism definitely plays a part because even like in elementary school, right? Like the light skinned pretty girl, the pretty guy usually gets more smiles than the dark skinned kid who they may be doing the same thing, but one just looks more inherently wrong for some reason. And even if they're both the same race, I think that skin tone plays a part in that. And I think it continues as people grow up and they go out into the workforce or different situations and it becomes more evident because there's more situations that it gets applied to.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
I found some stuff, but I haven't necessarily like on Google Scholar, but I can't pull up everything because I don't like I'm not gonna pay for it. But there's been there's been some people who have done like they did one for teachers in the classrooms. So I haven't been able to see how it affects, but they did do a study on that. I do know for the judicial system one, they found that darker skin and people with Afrocentric features are they are usually sentenced to a longer time than their lighter counterparts. I've seen in some studies that being a darker skinned person sometimes like regulates you to like a social class. So darker skinned people are also more likely to be of a lower socioeconomic status. According to these studies, I don't know how, but I mean, they're like scholarly, so I kind of believe, I mean, I believe them. But so, I mean, it's a thing. A lot of people just look at it through relationships,
Hmm.
but it just goes like it has real implications, past relationships. So yeah, it's yeah. I also saw one that how we talk about like with dating how darker skinned men are preferred. When it comes to like the workforce, they are it's not the same.
Yeah.
They are yeah, it's not the same. I've seen that a darker skinned man and a lighter skinned man with similar education on a study, they would be more likely to hire the lighter skinned man because he just seems to would always be a better fit. They always talk about the
Hmm.
fit. So
They're more palatable.
yeah, right. I like that word. Someone said it today, and I don't really use it. I'm gonna just write that down. Thank you. All right. So I asked a couple questions. Um, what are some of your personal experiences with colorism, if you have any? I think we yeah
Right. Okay. Let's
yeah.
see.
Let me get comfortable.
All right. I got off the top of my head, I've got three things I'm thinking of. I know that Like my mom, for example, she is light skinned and she's always expressed how much she wants to be with a dark skinned black guy and she wants to pop out chocolate babies, which is funny because my father is about my complexion. So compared to her, definitely dark skin. And me, I'm my father's skin tone. My brother is her skin tone. And, she was disappointed when he came out light skinned like her. She still loves him. Of course she does. But,
Right.
she wanted a little chocolate drop baby and she didn't get it. Um, and me, she's not my biological mom. She's like a stepmom. So,
Okay.
but yeah, but still. And then I know that my grandmother, that's my father's mother, so they're about the same complexion as well. She had a time. Now, she was in her 20s in the 60s, right? So there was already a lot going on. And with her particular situation, she was dating this guy who ultimately became my grandfather, but he was light skinned. He was Native American and white and a little bit of black in him. So light skinned guy, the big curly waves in his hair. I mean, he was beautiful in 1968. And she still tells the story about how his mom, another light skinned woman, would always refer to her as Black Ass Alma. She'll tell that story every Christmas. Um, but it's real, and that kind of thing hurts and sticks with her. She's almost 70 years old and she still, remembers that hurt that came with, her partner's mother calling her out because of her skin tone and being very aggressive and persistent about it until the day she died, So that's really something I thought was impactful. But I mean, other than that, I mean, there's me, I've never experienced anything personally that was like blaringly evident. I'm pretty sure it's happened, but nothing has showcased itself to me.
Yeah.
But I've been very nervous about it ever since, moving and traveling abroad. That's when it started becoming more noticeable. Um, because I guess the relationship that different cultures and different countries have with blackness is different than the United States. Um, Over here, I'm on like the east half of the world, so I've been to Turkey and the Middle East and places like that. Over here, there's a relationship between blackness and contemporary economic stance because there's a lot of like migrant workers that come from Africa, usually sub-Saharan Africa, to come work. So there's that kind of thing. Or sometimes I remember when I was in Turkey, there were some women that wanted to take pictures with me. So I felt really exoticized.
Hmm.
So that was interesting. Um, and being in the Middle East in general, I mean, colorism, they go hard here and East Asia, Southeast Asia.
Yeah,
It was a
they
time.
do.
Yeah. I
I
had
did.
a lot.
Southeast Asia is rough. I did study abroad there, and
Mhm. What
yeah,
country?
in Thailand,
Ah, okay.
it was interesting to say the least.
Okay. All right. I'm going to the Philippines in December, so
You going to the Philippines?
yeah.
Oh, that ought to be really nice. I
I
mean, they're nice people, but they have really bad problem with colorism in Thailand.
mm,
Like really,
so
all their stuff has bleach and cream in it. All their lotions, all their you can't buy anything out of the store if you don't want it to have bleach and cream in it. And people will say stuff to you. Um, like I remember this man, he was like, "You're so black. You're so black" to me one time, and I was like, and when we would go out, I was with my friend. She's a black girl, but she looks mixed, if that makes sense. um, and they would like exoticize her, but they would kind of like not even like want to be bothered, like pay attention, or like they want to take pictures with her, and it wasn't, the same for me. So, um, there, I think they like maybe like mixed or light skinned blacks, but I don't think they like. Um, I know they don't like dark skinned Thai people, but as far as those are considered the workers there. But as far as like black people, I know that they actually don't really like black people because of something that happened with some group of or some country of Africa. I don't know exactly what happened, but so they regulate, I guess, all black people to that group. So that could be why. But yeah.
Well, that's interesting. That is interesting. I remember I mean, I've read about what race and colorism was like in the Philippines, just trying to, get a sense of it before I go.
Mhm.
Especially after I came here. Um, Qatar is attached to Saudi Arabia, so we're right in the middle of, all this. Right in the middle of the Middle East, I guess. And it was the first time I'd ever seen. Hmm?
Oh no, I was just listening.
Um, but yeah, so we're right in the middle of the Middle East, and we have a lot of migrant workers from sub-Saharan Africa and Southeast Asia. And it's really easy to find skin bleaching, cream, lotion, that kind of thing. But it was the first time I'd really seen it. Because in the US, we don't really put stuff like that on the shelves as
Mm,
blatantly as
no,
they
you
put it.
don't. No.
Right. Here, you'll literally see, a box with the face split in half, dark skin on one half, light skin on the other half. And I'm like, oh, okay. And it makes me wonder, I'm like, is this for the locals? Like, is this for Arabs or is this for the huge migrant populations that have this products in their home country? And I'm like, I think it's a little bit of both for different reasons. But it was just interesting to see the way that colorism reflects here versus in the US. Ooh, one more story though, now that I
Yeah.
remember. Um, so I mentioned before that I'm, Native American. I'm like a quarter Chickahominy. Um, and it's clear and proven and evident, my great grandmother, until she passed, I mean, that's the Native American chick.
Hmm.
And my immediate family tried applying for like citizenship in the tribe itself, and we got rejected. And we're like, well, that's strange because we're clearly, we have enough of the Native American blood in our gene pool to be in the
To
tribe.
apply. Right.
Exactly. But to me and to my father, it seemed like a colorism issue because
Yeah.
basically what happened to the tribe, generations ago is half of them, shacked up with black people and half of them shacked up with white people or other Native Americans.
Oh.
So a chunk of us that are Native American but we're dark skinned and the majority are still light skinned. And if
Oh.
you ever go to one of their powwows, their functions, it's it's odd to be the only dark-skinned Native Americans around, and you know that these people are related to you, but they
Yeah.
kind of, don't want to be associated with you. So that was interesting, especially because like specifically the family that I'm a part of is like the leadership, like the people who still have I mean they have chiefs, but it's not like it was in 1600.
Right.
But
Right.
you But yeah, I mean, like there's photographs of like my great great grandfather in his headdress and a suit at the family church. Like it's not a debatable history, and it's just bizarre to see people who have the same last name as you. Aside from getting married and that kind of thing, we have the same last name, but we aren't related because we look different. Just skin tone. Because we have some of the same features, like I
Yeah.
get like my nose and my eyebrows and stuff, all that. We all look the same. But it's that one detail. where we don't look the same, that just erases everything else we have in common.
Yeah. Well, slavery did that as well. I mean, Native Americans and Black people used to be very, 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 very close. And I mean, same way as like working white people and Black people used to be close, but you got white people who did not, I mean, they didn't want Black, I mean, I feel like they didn't want Black people to have anything because Native Americans and Black people did have a good relationship. So,
Mhm.
like you, a lot of people are, Native American, but they wouldn't readily accept them because, anti-Blackness has been given to them as well. And that,
Mhm.
that's upsetting considering, you have family that was, that are you can visibly see that they're Native American. They were active in, Native American life. You had the same features and but no, it's still not enough. And so when you said enough Native American, were you saying like for their tribe you have to have a certain amount of like Native American in you for you to be accepted into their tribe?
Yes.
And y'all had that amount?
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, I mean I feel like that's just pretty clear.
Yeah, right.
Why? Not yeah.
I have
Yeah, that's pretty clear. Yeah. And that's sad. Mm. Do you guys still go to like different or when you were here, did you still go to, events and stuff after that?
no, um, I know I personally went to 2, like, the big group powwow where, like, the different tribes come, but
Mhm.
mine hosted it, like, on their traditional tribal grounds. I only went to 2 events, and then after that, after we got, denied membership, it felt kinda weird. It felt like we were coming, even though we were all coming as guests anyway, it felt like we were coming like as tourists or sightseers, that kind of guest, as opposed to someone who shares this heritage. And, we'd love to be a part of it. Like, I would love to learn a traditional dance, but I'm barred from that. It's weird to be a spectator to your own culture.
Yeah. Do they ever give you a reason behind things like that, or do they just say no?
Oh, I think the reason my dad got on paper, it says that we didn't have enough percentage Native American in us. That was the official reason. But he did the math, over and over again, and he's like, "No, like, if my grandmother is Native American, we definitely have enough in us." It's odd, especially
Yeah.
because I mean, like, she would have been my great-grandmother, she had siblings, and they have kids, the same generational pattern, and their kids are in the tribe. So, the same generation as my dad means the same percentage of DNA,
Mhm.
but for some reason, he
Some
doesn't get it.
reason.
Mhm.
Hmm. Okay. All right. All right. So we just have two more questions. It is who is responsible for breaking the cycle of colorism, and do you think it will ever end?
I think that all responsible for it, but I also think that it's something that's easy to do. I mean, because like to put responsibility on everyone, it makes it sound intimidating and like a weight to bear. But I think it's really simple. I think it's really easy. I think it's about inclusiveness and at points reflection, thinking about decisions that you are making in whatever position you are in. And I think that it can end. I think it's going to take a while, a few generations. Hopefully, by the time my babies pop out grandbabies, I mean, hopefully it'll be near settled. But I think that we're on the right path. But I think that we're just now starting the path, so it's gonna take a minute.
Yeah. Okay, Nia. Well, I appreciate you coming here to talk with me. Um, All right, so Nia, thank you for coming and talking at All Things Black. We really appreciate you. Bye.
Bye. You're so welcome for having me.